Morning, guys. How we doing?
Ryan.
Who's
This
up
is
first?
probably more of a question to ask you like at a breakfast at the owners' meetings when we're relaxed, but since there was no owners' meetings and no breakfast, I just wanted to ask you, just going back, what the thinking was in making changes in the linebacker room. Obviously, you made significant changes. What did you hope to accomplish in terms of skills you wanted to add? Are you happy with the group now you have after obviously adding a handful of players at linebacker?
I'll take you to breakfast. That's not an issue. We can go to breakfast. Um, yeah, we made a couple additions to the linebacker room. Duke Riley, McKinney, uh, and yeah, we like the group. They work hard. They're tough. They're smart. They're competitive. Um, it's important to them. Um, they over. It's early, so over the first few days of training camp, and I shouldn't say that. Going back to the spring and OTAs, um, it's a group that works well together, or they're trying to work well together, and um, they've all got a different skill set that we can potentially use, whether it's pass game, pass rush, run defense, kicking game. Uh, so, uh, again, very competitive room. Uh, the new guys plus Bake, plus Roberts, plus Munson, plus Egavon. Um, I think it's a competitive group, and um, if we continue to just build and take it one day at a time and try to improve every day, we'll hopefully, um, you know, have a solid group.
Jakeem Grant was able to attain All-Pro status for his performance as a kick returner and punt returner. How do you value and balance the, a player's ability in that area, even if he's not necessarily, say, a starter at the receiver position?
I think there's a lot of value in um, having an explosive returner who can flip the field and flip field position and score. I mean, I think there's a lot of. I think we all see the value in that. So, um, you know, Jakeem, obviously very explosive, obviously productive, not only as a returner but as a receiver as well. Um, and we're happy to have him. So, uh, we'll keep working. Obviously, there's a lot of competition in that room. Again, last year was last year. I think we've said that multiple times, and I think while we you know we use that as I would say a barometer for what we know he can do. Um, every day we got to prove it, and that's kind of what we tell the players, and they know that, and they understand that. So we got to prove it every day in meetings and walk through and practice. Um, and if you put all those things together, we feel like you'll have success in games. But right now we're just focused on today.
Hey, Flo, what level of growth have you seen from Tua as far as the deep ball? We've seen it from our eyes, but from your eyes, what have you seen?
I think uh, it's something he's placed an emphasis on. We've placed an emphasis on not pushing the ball downfield, but um, taking advantage of those opportunities if they're there. Um, but like always, we want to have good fundamentals, good techniques, good mechanics. Go through his progression, and if it's there and it's open, or we can throw him open, then take a shot. I mean, we're not going to make him if we don't throw him. So I think he's taking more shots downfield, and I think as a hopefully he's gaining more confidence that we can make some of those throws. But at the same time, not every throw is going to be a 50-yarder, 60-yarder. So we got to make good decisions. Got to check it down when we need to check it down. Got to throw the intermediate route when we need to throw the intermediate route. Got to throw it away and take the incompletion when we need to do that. And he just needs reps. So we'll just try to give him as many reps as possible. That's the same with all the quarterbacks, Jacoby, Reed, and really all players at all position. But specific to Tua and the downfield throws, that'd be my take on it.
What are you seeing out of a Sealer? See him working a little bit with the ones, and did Wilkins come out with a little bit more juice last practice after he had some reps with the twos?
Uh, Wilkins always has juice. Sometimes too much juice. It messes with me a little bit. So, no. I mean, we like it. Christian's energy. I mean, his energy, his juice, his theatrics. I think he adds a lot to the team from that standpoint. Look, there's ones, twos. I mean, there's no ones, there's no twos in my mind. Everyone's out competing. Sealer's done a good job. He's working. He's had some production in practices. And we'll just continue to roll guys and work guys against different, players. So, but, both guys are working hard, and pleased with where both guys are.
The other day, you used the phrase moving in the right direction regarding Xavier Howard. Where do things stand today?
Moving in the right direction.
Coach, this time of year and when training camp rolls along and maybe you guys have seen some of the same drills over and over, the same route concepts or whatever it might be, how do you evaluate the process of those practice reps if guys might be not cheating the drill, but maybe they know what's happening or what's going on? Like, is there an evaluation kind of difference with that?
Yeah, guys cheat the drill. That happens, but I think we just need to keep the drills moving, and there's always an element to a drill you can do to force a guy not to. Normally he goes in, we go out. Normally we go out, we go deep. So there is an element of that. I think it's up to us as a staff to try to eliminate that as much as possible, but I think I think we just need to continue to work the techniques, work the fundamentals, and I think whether they cheat the drill, not cheat the drill, I mean, we're evaluating the fundamentals and techniques now. They may look a little cleaner because they're anticipating it, but and not truly reacting. But that's part of the evaluation also. Is that a true rep? Are we counting that one? I mean, player may think so, but we may not be counting that one. So.
Yesterday was your first day in pads. I wanted to get your evaluation of the good that you saw and also the things that concerned you that you need to see get better.
Day one in pads is, every year is kind of the same conversation. Pad level, technique, fundamentals, footwork, hand placement. It's the first time you've done it in a long time. Everyone's a little bit rusty, and that's what we're talking about. Footwork, hand placement, pad level. So that can always be better. We can always play lower. We talk a lot about leverage and how you win against an opponent. And we make those corrections, and we come back out here today and get a little bit better. We come back out on tomorrow's a Friday and get a little bit better, and then just try to make those improvements on a day-to-day basis. And then we get into preseason games and we do it for real. So.
How much of a priority was improving the run game and then improving the run defense this offseason when you talk about how you were going to build the 2021 team?
I think you always want to we want to improve in a lot of areas, obviously in every area. But yeah, run defense is important. I mean, so I think that's always a kind of standard. Hey, we want to be good against the run, force it to be one-dimensional, and play defense that way. So I think every defense, high school, college, pros is saying the same thing from that standpoint. So yeah, there's importance placed there, and we're working on that. We worked on that yesterday. Conversely, it's important that we run the ball, so we're going to spend time on that offensively, run defense defensively, and again, hopefully like everything else, just try to get a little bit better every day. And
rushing the passer, obviously in this heat, can be exhausting. Are you comfortable now after adding Adam, obviously the mix with Christian and Raekwon and Zach, et cetera? Are you comfortable with the number of defensive linemen you have that you can alternate in this heat to rush the passer? And what did you like specifically about Adam? You knew him obviously well, which made you want to sign him.
Yeah, I mean, I think our guys are in good shape. Um, I think, you're right. It's hot. So our ability to roll guys in and out of the game is important. I feel good about that group. Adam specifically, he's tough. He's smart. He loves to play. He's competitive. He's team first. So I think he fits in well with the group. He's a good communicator. Again, it's early, so we haven't said you're doing this, you're doing that. We're still kind of in the evaluation process, but I think all those guys in that group are really working. They're in early, kind of watching film and trying to get better, and just trying to string good days together.
Right, we saw Van Ginkel leave practice early yesterday. What can you tell us about his status?
Yeah, he'll be out today. He's day to day. He's just try to. He's already in the training room and getting rehabbing, and he's just going to take it one day at a time and get back as quickly as he can.
Sometimes things can get testy at training camp or joint practices. I guess there was like a little scuffle out at Giants camp. In your whole career, is there sort of a memorable training camp or joint practice scuffle or something that you actually keep in your mind now that you're a head football coach?
Yeah, I mean, look, you put pads on, things get chippy. It's a chippy game. It happens. I think it's also a game where you got to keep your poise, and that's kind of what I talk to the players about, and it's something we talk about as a staff. We talk to the players about. Like, we know it's gonna somebody's gonna be on the ground, somebody's gonna do a little too much. I mean, we had a little bit of it yesterday, and your natural reaction is to react and fight back. But as we know, it's normally the second guy who gets the penalty, and in those instances, we got to keep our poise. And we have to practice that. So, inevitably, there's going to be some kind of fight out on the field, and we just got to learn from it and get better. But we try to use it as a learning experience, when it happens. Because when it happens in a game, it could be costly, and we just try to use it as a learning tool.
Transplant, what he did for his sister.
Yeah.
But he also mentioned specifically to use that platform as an NFL player. How important is it, do you feel, that players can use their status or platform to help other people, whatever it may be?
I think it's very important. I think these guys have worked extremely hard to get to this point. And I think, when you're talking about something like, what he did for his sister, or, a charitable organization that these guys are that's important to them, I think they should use their platform to acknowledge probably isn't the right word, but, showcase probably isn't the right word either, but I can't think of the right word. But I think they should use their platform and speak out about the things that are important to them. And kudos to Austin for doing that.
If I could follow up, is it because they have they're so recognizable that they have that voice and they can inspire people?
Yeah, I mean, they're NFL players. He's got a platform to speak to you guys and reach all the Miami Dolphins fans and football fans who watch. So I think it's great that he's doing that, and he has my full support to do it.
Last question.
We're 10 days out now, I think, from the first preseason game. At what point do you start to switch from maybe a training camp mindset to that first preparing for a game week type of mindset?
I mean, it's a little different this year because we're going to practice against Chicago. In a normal year, probably 3 days before. I like training camp practices, so those games are about fundamentals and techniques, and I'm not trying to out-scheme anybody. Just trying to really evaluate the players. I would say at least the first preseason game, and get your first taste of blocking, tackling, live taste of it, I would say. But this year against Chicago, we're going to practice against them, so it's a little bit different. Like we're going to see them and then play against them, so it's a little bit different. All right, guys.